Hey, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, soldiers and warriors, chosen ones. This is your sister Fire, and I am back today, y'all, with another video. I told y'all that I would probably do a few videos about relationships, and so I decided that I would do another video, okay? So I just did a video about, how to meet your divine given spouse, okay? And in this particular video, I'm going to touch on godly relationships, okay? What the scriptures say about husbands and what the scriptures say about wives, and excuse me, how they should treat one another, okay? And this can also go for men and women of God. Well, it does also go for you, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that these scriptures can also prepare you so you can get prepared for your divine given husband or wife. Okay, so just because you may not be married as of yet, reading these scriptures can help you to know how you are supposed to treat your divine given husband or wife. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be going over with you all today. So I guess, yeah, we'll start with, we'll be reading from Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 through 32. And we'll also be reading from Colossians chapter 3, verses 18 through 24, my brothers and sisters. Okay, so let's go ahead and go there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read in Ephesians chapter 5. Okay, verses 22 through 32. So it says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church." Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Colossians chapter 3, verses 18 through 24. "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged." And then I'll read, "Servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing God. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons. Okay, so I thought I would just read those scriptures first and then kind of like dive into it, elaborate a little bit more on what it's saying to me. Okay, so go ahead and put this just in case I need to go back in there. Sorry, y'all. All right. So first I want to speak to the wives, okay? Or the, godly women who are preparing themselves to be a wife, okay? One thing that the scriptures say, in both of those different books, Ephesians and Colossians, it tells the wives to submit themselves to their own husbands, okay? And it says that for a reason, okay? So, what that says to me is that we as women of God should not be lusting after someone else's husband, okay? God has made, for every man, there is a rib, okay? There is a wife that God has divinely made for that particular man. Okay, so there is no need for us to be lusting and going after another woman's husband. Okay, the scriptures speak about that on more than one occasion. So that's what stuck out to me, my brothers and sisters. We are to be reverencing our husbands, okay? And when I looked up the definition of reverence, it said deep respect. Have a deep respect for your husband, okay? And also, before I go there, so as a wife, our husbands are providing for us, okay? And doing the best that they can to provide for us and our children, okay, if we have children. And so it's only right, it's only, to me, natural to reverence him, to respect that man, because he's going out into the world, facing all types of obstacles to provide for me and my children, for all of us. And so, to me, that just comes naturally, okay? But when we love our husbands, we also are to nurture our husbands, okay? And when I looked up that definition, it said to care for and encourage growth and development. Okay. And so, our husbands need that. They have to go out and face the world every day. Okay. And so they don't need a wife that is discouraging, that's tearing them down and speaking, negative words to them. But they need a wife that is going to uplift them, encourage them. Okay. So it's very important for us as women of God to do that, to encourage our husbands, to uplift our husbands. It's very important for their growth and their development. And I probably should have said this one first. I mentioned it, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands. And so as, godly women, and wives, we are to submit to our husbands. And no, that does not mean allow him to run us over. No, if he's a man of God, that's the farthest thing from his mind anyway, is to dog out his wife, to run her over, to not respect her feelings, her thoughts, okay? But when I looked up the word submit, the definition said to accept or yield to, okay? And so when you're married to a man of God, you know, and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, that's what's making him a man of God, you know, it should come natural to you being a woman of God to, you know, accept and yield to, you know, his leadership, okay? Because he has been placed as the head of us, you know, the leader of us, okay, under Christ, okay? So it's very important, you know, that we submit to our husbands. Once again, that does not mean you don't have an opinion. That does not mean you don't have emotions, okay? But it does mean to respect what that man says, okay? You know, because as women, a lot of times we do, you know, tend, a lot of us, maybe not all of us, but a lot of us do tend to act out of our emotions. Okay. And men, normally, usually, are more on the, I guess, maybe logical side. A lot of times they are logical about things and they don't make decisions out of their emotions. Okay. And so that's why it's very important for us as women of God to do as the scriptures say and submit to our husbands. Okay. And that doesn't mean that, you know, your husband may make a decision or is trying to make a decision, and, you know, you may have maybe a better idea, you know, regarding whatever that decision may be, and you two may talk it out, and he may decide, okay, well, what you said, what you said, sweetheart, does make more sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with that decision. But there may be times that your husband makes a decision and you may think it's not the best decision. However, you two should be mature enough to talk it out. And if he decides, well, we're gonna go with this, then at that time, you know, you should submit to your husband and trust his decision, okay? If he is a true man of God, yes, you submit and trust his decision making. So, you know, these are things that stood out to me and what I got, you know, from this, from reading these scriptures, my brothers and sisters, that I'm sharing with you right now. Now, when it comes to the husbands, okay, what, you know, the scriptures say, what we read and what I got out of it, okay, where it says, you know, husbands, you know, you are to love your wives as Christ loved the church, okay? And so when I thought about that, you know, I'm like, okay, how did Christ love the church, or how does Christ love the church? Okay, because he's still alive and kicking, okay? And so he still loves the church, okay? As a matter of fact, the scriptures say that he's coming back for the church. He's coming back for a church without spot nor wrinkle. So that right there says a lot to you. The fact that Christ loves the church so much that he's coming back for it. And this is how a husband is to love his wife. Ephesians 5:29 says that Christ nourished and cherished the church. So therefore, a husband should be nourishing and cherishing his wife. And I wanted to look up the definition of nourish, because I know there's nurture, like the wives. Women are good nurturers to our children and to our husbands. So I was like, okay, so nurture and nourish, aren't they like the same thing? So I looked it up. So the definition of nourish is provide food and other substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. So a husband is to provide, the necessary things, the food and other substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. So where the woman is to care for and encourage growth and development, the man, the husband, is to provide for. So the difference there is that the woman is to care for the growth and the development of the husband, as where the husband is to provide for the growth and the development and the, necessary substances that his wife and children will need. So that was interesting to me. I'm glad I looked it up. Not really too different. It's just the care for versus the provide for. Christ loved the church so much that he flipped tables over in the temple. Okay. Now, we all know that there's a physical temple, and then a physical building temple, but then we have our bodies as the temple of God as well. Okay. And so Christ loved the temple so much that he flipped over those tables and drove out the money changers and the dove sellers there. Okay. That's how much he loved the church. And so that when you break it down, what he did at that time was he was defending and protecting the church when he did that. And so that's what a husband is supposed to do for his wife. He is also supposed to defend and protect his wife and children. And you can find that in Matthew chapter 21, verses 12 through 17. I'm just going over my notes, y'all, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So yes, I went over everything in the notes, my brothers and sisters. So yes, once again, that is what I got out of those scriptures. I always like to study to show myself approved, as the scriptures say, and to get a better understanding. Because when I always read that scripture, the husband is to love his wife like Christ loved the church. But to me, I needed to get a better understanding of how Christ loved the church. You know what I'm saying? And so I decided to, delve a little deeper into that and do a little bit more research. And that's what I got out of it. And it was like, that's what I always knew, in my heart, in my spirit, that's what a husband was supposed to do. But it wasn't written out in stone per se, to me it wasn't. And so I had to dive in there and, that's what it came out. And so, I'm really happy that I did that. And I encourage you all to, when you read those scriptures, if you don't understand something, it's okay to look up a word. It's okay to pull out the concordance, you know what I'm saying, to get a better understanding. Like the scriptures say, with all thine getting, get an understanding. Because my people perish for lack of knowledge. So it's very important that when we're reading those scriptures, we get an understanding. And another thing that I do, my brothers and sisters, is I pray to the Lord to give me understanding as well, to understand those scriptures. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. If you haven't already done that and you're having problems with understanding all of the scriptures, that would be my advice to you. Because when I said that prayer, lo and behold, I began to understand. But, not all the time will it pop out to me. Sometimes I have to do some research. So with that being said, my brothers and sisters, that is how, we are to be treating one another. And once again, you may not, be married as of yet, but you can be preparing yourself for that, okay? You should know how you should be treating your husband or treating your wife. And so, like I said, I decided to share this with you all. And I hope that, this has helped someone. This has blessed someone. If this has blessed you, please hit the like button so that the video can go on the algorithm and bless someone else. And thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Don't be afraid to share this video as well. And I always forget to say this, so I'm so glad I remembered to say it now. For those of you who have been asking, how do you donate to the ministry? I always leave my Cash App in my description portion of the video. So you can go down there and go to my Cash App. And I appreciate all donations to the ministry, my brothers and sisters. God bless you all, and until next time.